Good to go. Alright, battle. Single battle, normal rules. Good to go. Challenge sent. I think I've got everything good. Alright, good to go. Alright, let's check the chat real quick. How's everybody doing? Do I have a Meowth? I do not have a Meowth. Most of what I have is starters and Feebas. So today I'm giving away Feebas, and I've got a Porygon. So I've got an Analytic Porygon, a bunch of Feebas, and some Scythers thrown in, as well as a Shiny. So I've got a Shiny in there. Doom, doom, doom. And it's a Shiny Scraggy. Alright. Let's see, what do we have today? We've got another Cincino. So as long as we can limit that a little bit, we'll be alright. Melodic, which probably has Marvel Scale. Marvel Scale is probably one of the most useful abilities on Melodic. And I believe the way that Marvel Scale works, which correct me if I'm wrong, once your HP falls below half, you start taking less damage. It says if suffering, it takes like 50% damage. So Melodic, you want to clear it out quickly. Ferrothorn might be the setup Pokemon. Let's see. We might also see Gliscor come out and then switch into Ferrothorn. So, let's see. Do I want to deal with that Gliscor? Gliscor is a physical wall. Might come out if it's predicting Klefki, but I haven't been leading out with Klefki as much because it's not a setup Pokemon, it's a support. I don't play with a whole lot of setup, I play with support role Pokemon. So I don't necessarily have to lead out with Klefki. He can come in at any time if I run into something that I don't want out anymore. So I'm going to lead out with Typhlosion to hopefully clear out that Ferrothorn, because those usually run with like Stealth Rocks and everything. So hello everybody, this is DKG's Avos. We're hoping that Ferrothorn's the first one out, and we're going to get some free damage off on whatever switches in against us. Whew. Ugh. Still got to stretch out the neck. I still got that crick in my neck from earlier in, like, last week. It's still in there. Alright, Gliscor did come out first, so I imagine there's probably going to be some sort of protect going on to try and make sure that he's got that toxic. I was a little on the edge of wondering if Gliscor was going to be first or not. But I am going to try Extrasensory out here just to see what I can do with it. I don't know. Fire's not going to really work. So, looks like we're going to get some toxic damage on Typhlosion. Unfortunately, we're not going to do too much with Typhlosion here. I really wanted to see more out of Extrasensory. Typhlosion's kind of new to this team. I haven't played with him too much. So, I was really hoping that he'd be able to do a little bit more than he does. Now, I could have gone for Focus Blast, I could have gone for Flamethrower, but neither of those really seemed like great ideas. If I was going to do neutral damage, I wanted to see how much he could do with Extrasensory. Alright. If we're going to go up against a defensive wall, we might as well challenge it with another defensive wall. Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to go up against him. We're going to bring out Trevenant. He's going to get some Poison Heal going, but we do have Resto Chesto Trevenant, which is going to be very defensive bulky. He's not going to take too much damage from Gliscor, hopefully. Oh, but he's going to go for Knockoff. That sucks. Super effective. Knockoff, a really good move against the Resto Chesto Trevenant. I like it. I like having him around. And I'm pretty sure if you knock it off, because I didn't consume it, I'm not going to get it back. So I don't get to harvest it back. Disappointing. Unfortunate. So now he's going to switch something out. I do force a switch with that. I mean, that's one thing that it is good for. Forcing switches. Like, even if you're going for a 2-turn move, and you're just trying to force a switch, you can get a switch. Alright, so Cincino is going to have like Tail Slap and Rock Blast, and I think that's about it for the 5-turn moves, and usually has Skill Link. And you can see that it's a physically defensive Trevenant, so I wasn't worried about leaving it out against Cincino, even with U-Turn. U-Turn being super effective, it'll be non-stab, so we don't have to worry about that as much. And then even though it's super effective, a lot of damage absorbed. This is going to hurt me more than it's going to hurt him. Ah, 4 HP. Gotta love that. Alright, so Iron Barb's usually a Rocky Helmet on there as well. I know that he's not going to be able to do a whole lot with that, except for setup at this point. So I'm going to go ahead and rest on Trevenant, just to try and recover that HP, because even though he's just a defensive wall now, he doesn't have the Chesto Berry. He's basically like a Resto Chesto Snorlax at this point, so we can keep him alive. He's going to go for the Iron Defense, which is not going to go so well for him, just because I'm going to switch into a Special Attacker now. And there's not a whole lot that Mr. Cuddles is really going to be able to do against Typhlosion. So I'm basically trying to force a switch here. I don't want this thing to keep setting up. Iron Defense helps him out on his defense. It raises it 2 stages. So basically, he's got a +4 defense on this Ferrothorn. And it doesn't help him out against any special attacks, which would be like Focus Blast or Flamethrower or Hidden Power. And I still don't know what Hidden Power is, but at this point in the game, I really don't want to deal with it. I don't want to figure it out. Looks like he was trying to call my bluff a little bit, predicting maybe a double switch, or thinking that he'd be able to take the Flamethrower, but it's 4 times weak to it. Typhlosion is a special attacker. He's bred as a bulky special attacker, so he's got max HP, max special attack, and then he's got Choice Scarf to make sure that he gets that speed in there, so he's going to outspeed everybody. He's got the Modest Nature on him, so it is helpful, but he is currently banded or sashed, so I'm going to take a Rock Blast from Cincino if I stay in, so I'm going to have to switch out into something that can deal with it. So with that, we're going to have to switch out Typhlosion. I really don't want to take a Rock Blast to the face with Typhlosion. Yes, what this does mean is that, well, we're going to lose our Air Balloon on Klefki. But there didn't seem to be a whole lot on his team that was really going to use Earthquake on us, so we're not too offended by losing our Air Balloon. We should be okay. And now a little bit of metagaming here. Things to know. We know that Cincino, a lot of time, well, it's Life Orb. So we know that it's Life Orb. We know that he can pick whatever move he wants. But Cincino doesn't have a whole lot against us that can really do any damage. Like I said earlier, we know that it can have Knockoff, which he already popped our Air Balloon, so he's got no point in going for Knockoff. We're also a Fairy type, so we're going to resist that pretty well. We also know that he's got Rock Blast and possibly Tail Slap, but he's a physical attacker, and we've got an impish-natured Klefki. So what I'm going to go for here, predicting a switch, because Cincino can't do anything, is go for Swagger. And the reason that I'm predicting the switch is because Gliscor already has a status move on him, and Gliscor is a safe switch against any paralysis. And I said before that the best way to deal with Cincino is to slow him down. You really want to slow down Cincino with paralysis. And if you know that Cincino can't do anything against Klefki, there's no reason for him to stay in, right? Just a little bit of deductive reasoning, making sure that you're clearing out the enemies that you really want to. Gliscor is going to come in here and try and do something. He does have Earthquake, but usually he's going to be a defensive wall. But it looks like this one's an attacker. Unfortunate that we gave him +2 attack and he hits straight through it, losing our Air Balloon. I'm a little sad now. A little sad. But we do have WALLrein. WALLrein should be able to threaten this Gliscor out, because there's not a whole lot that Gliscor is going to be able to do against 212 HP. So we should be able to clear him out just with Frost Breath. Just the threat of an Ice Pokemon coming out usually makes Gliscor run for the hills, especially a special attacking Gliscor. He might be playing a little bit risky just because he knows that he's got the +2 attack, but he's also confused. And you'll notice that he's poisoned. He's got an ability that's called Poison Heal, so when he's badly poisoned or poisoned at all, he's going to be fine. He's actually going to regenerate HP instead of losing it. Gyarados is going to come in here, take neutral damage just based on the fact that he's flying and water. Icy Wind is always going to do a critical hit, so it's going to do some damage. Now, Gyarados, we don't know how he's running. We don't know if this is Mega Gyarados. We don't know if this is going to be... Yeah, it's going to be Mega Gyarados. Awesome Possum. This does threaten WALLrein quite a bit, like significantly. Like making me regret keeping WALLrein in. Just because WALLrein is, well, special defensive. Absolutely special defensive. Special defensive wall with not a whole lot of defense to him. We can check that out real quick, but I don't think he's going to be a really good... I don't think he's going to be a keeper against Gyarados, especially with a DD up. We'd rather have him paralyzed, but with Klefki out of here, we do have to kind of think about this another way. So let's check things out real quick. WALLrein, what is your defense? Alright, his defense is 111, so that's not actually that bad, especially with 217 HP. It's just nothing compared to that 170-something special defense that he's got. So we can try and go for Frost Breath. It's going to do about half as much damage as it did before. We can go for Water Pulse, which really won't help us out unless he gets confused. We can go for Protect, which doesn't help us out at this point. But I'm going to go for Frost Breath because I know it's going to do a critical. And it looks like Earthquake. We're going to see how good WALLrein's really going to be able to tank this. Looks alright. We do have Hail that's going to do damage every turn. Like I said, not very effective. Even with the critical, which always hits with that move. It's 60 base damage though. So, I mean, not always that helpful. 60 base damage with a critical makes it about 120. About. But really against another water-type Pokemon, it doesn't make a whole lot of difference. Alright, so here's what I'm going to do that's a little bit weird. I want to go ahead and try and do more damage to Gyarados, but I'm going to go ahead and go for Protect, hoping that he doesn't go for a DD here. But he predicts it pretty well, going for that DD, knowing that I'm going to go for Protect, trying to get that Ice Body and Lefty's health back. And unfortunately, at this point, I don't think that WALLrein's going to be able to survive this one. I don't think so. But looking around, there's not a whole lot I really want to switch in. I could switch into Trevenant, but Gyarados with some dark moves and Dark Stab against Trevenant, not really a great idea. Typhlosion's not going to be able to take an Earthquake. I don't think Azumarill is going to be able to clear him out in one shot. So we're just going to try and buy some time with this Hail damage. We're going to see if we can get one more Frost Breath off. We survive. Super good. Happy with that. Now we could try and go for Protect, try and survive a little bit longer. Try and stall him out on that Hail damage one more turn. But I don't see it doing that much. So I'm just going to go for Frost Breath. If he goes for DD, he's dead. And, I mean, if he goes for the DD, predicting the Protect, which Protect would be a pretty good idea right now, trying to buy that one more turn of Hail, because there should be one more turn of Hail, and then it should fade. This might be the last turn. I've lost count by now. We'll figure it out. We'll see what's going on. But based on the timing, he's possibly waiting for the stream delay to see what I'm going for. It's okay. It's a live stream. It does happen. I'd love to go for Protect at this point. Really would. You'd buy that one extra turn of Hail damage. You'd be able to go in here, but it looks like he's going for the Earthquake, which is the smart move. It's the smart money. Going for the Earthquake, getting rid of that physical or the special defensive wall in WALLrein. Hail stops on that turn, so it wouldn't have done that much damage to him anyway. I would have gotten Lefty's support, but Wasn't worth it. Stalling out that one extra turn was not worth it to me. So now, if we know 100% that, hey, we're going to be able to survive one shot, we can go for play rough and guarantee the kill. But right now what we have to do is we have to go for Aqua Jet. We have to threaten this Gyarados out. He either has to leave and lose those DDs that he put up. The Dragon Dance increases his attack by 1 stage and his speed by 1 stage. And Gyarados lacks a little bit in priority in that he doesn't have any. So I don't have to worry about him outspeeding Azumarill. I have to worry about him either surviving this Aqua Jet, which probably not going to happen, or he's going to switch into something that's going to deal with Aqua Jet pretty well. Now, that said, Cincino is pretty much a glass cannon. We don't have to worry about that as much. We do have to worry about it trying to go for, like, knockoff or whatever it decides to. I don't even remember what item I put on Azumarill at this point. Ah, there it is. Okay. It is not Choice Banded, it is not Choice Scarfed, it's just an Azumarill. It does have an item on it, but I'm going to leave that up to a little bit of mystery. I'm hoping that that second Aqua Jet's going to clear out Cincino, because it is basically a glass cannon. That means it's going to shatter pretty quickly. That was pretty much death fodder there. Trying to see what Azumarill was going to be able to do. Kind of checking those damage calcs. You can do a lot of just mental checking once you get used to your team to see if your opponent has... Alright, wait a minute, hold on. Is he going to have Choice Band on this Azumarill? Am I going to be safe to go into this Gengar? The answer is yeah, he's pretty much going to be okay to do that. So now we have to worry about poison moves. Poison moves, because he's got stab poison damage. So, at this point, I mean, Azumarill could probably take out Gengar in 2 shots, but kind of depends on how that Gengar is feeling today. I've got Typhlosion, which isn't doing that well with his little bit. Trevenant is already asleep, so right now he's kind of worthless because we don't have a whole lot of physical Pokemon to use him up against. We know that Melodic's coming out. We know that Gengar's out. We know that we've got... oh, Substitute. Nicely done. So we know that Trevenant's going to be asleep for 2 turns. Really, he's not going to be doing that much damage just because he's a physical wall. But man, that Gengar didn't do that much damage. This Trevenant's a physical wall, so I think that's a bulky Gengar, which is a little odd. I'm not used to that. I love that Trevenant's eyes just disappear. It's like not there anymore. Alright, so he's going to go for the taunt, knowing that I'm probably going to wake up sometime soon. I'm not going for rest again. As much damage as Gengar did that turn, he could probably just clear me out. I'm not going to go for rest at this point, try and stay alive. That second Sludge Bomb should be able to deal with Trevenant pretty well, so I'm not worried about it. I did send out Trevenant, like I said, for a little bit of death fodder, because Trevenant's not really going to do that much damage. He does have a sub up on full health, so it would have been better to keep Marilyn in, but not knowing that when we started out, a little bit tough. So now we just got to go into Porygon here. Porygon's got our Eviolite, so we should be okay. Hopefully. Download, unfortunately, not helping us out at that point. Raised our attack, which, yay, yippee, super good. We got T-Bolt, which will do neutral damage against Gengar. And we'll see how much Sludge Bomb's really going to do. If it didn't do that much against Trevenant, I don't expect it's going to do a whole lot against Porygon 2 either, but the poison damage isn't going to help us out any. T-Bolt should hopefully fade this sub, and we won't have to worry about it so much anymore. Bulky Gengar, not something that you see very often. A lot of Gengar out there end up being a little bit of a glass cannon. So seeing a bulky Gengar, just based on the damage, is why I'm saying probably a bulky Gengar. There's Gliscor on the switch on the T-Bolt. Nicely done. Alright, Porygon 2 is poisoned. We do have Recover, so we should be able to survive a shot out of Gliscor, hopefully. But there's that knockoff that I was talking about earlier, making sure that that Eviolite's out of there. Porygon 2 is already bulky on his own. He just gains a lot of bulk just by having that Eviolite. Probably a pretty broken special attack. It's alright, though. Now, if he switches out into, let's say, Gengar at this point, we might be hurting a little bit. Just because we went for Tri-Attack, Tri-Attack won't be effective at all against Gengar. And like I said, he's got a decent amount of bulk on his own. So he's going to be able to stand up even without the Eviolite. Eviolite just helps out a lot. Makes Porygon 2 crazy good. Sorry, Porygon. I wish I could have helped out more. But not really wanting to double moves up. If he switches out into Gengar for whatever reason to try and set up a sub, I was going for Signal Beam here, just so that even if he went for Taunt or something else weird on Gliscor, wanted to make sure that we were going to hit everything that came out. Alright, so now we got a Azumarill. Oh, yeah. Azumarill's going to come out here. We've got Play Rough that we could go for, and we've got Aqua Jet. I'm going to go for Aqua Jet just to have that little bit of priority. Get him to scout it out, see what he's going to be able to do with it. We know that we've got Gyarados pretty well weakened down. We know that even Gengar with his Black Sludge, you know what? Gengar is not stupid, crazy, bulky, but we do have to be a little careful about the fact that, hey, Gengar is still around. I'm going to play a little bit risky here, though. I'm going to go for the Play Rough. Now, I just gave away the item that's on here. Gave it away. Gave away the fact that there's an Assault Vest on this Azumarill. So, can't go for the Belly Drum, so I can't go for Belly Jet. Now, Melodic. Oh, man, this is just all recover all day. Lefty's Black Sludge and the Poison Heal. This is just going to last a while. I'm going to keep going for the Play Rough here, though. We saw how much damage it did. 3 hits and Melodic should be out of here. Yes, the Marvel Scale is going to slow that down a little bit, but we should have him down basically in the red and hopefully not take burn damage. Burn damage is going to just wreck the day. Melodic knows it. So now at this point, we probably don't have enough to take him out with Aqua Jet, just because of that Marvel Scale. So I'm going to have to keep going for Play Rough. It sucks a little bit, because we do have to run the risk of getting burned, but we got to play with it, hope that we don't get burned, get the Play Rough. Now the burn on Azumarill, again, that's one of the biggest worries that we've got. Because of its attack stat, if it gets burned, it gets cut in half. And with huge power doubling the attack stat, then it's basically just whatever Azumarill's other abilities are, which are basically worthless, which is why you don't see them used. Alright, Gengar, what's up, buddy? Now, we already know that this Gengar is probably bulky because he's got a Substitute. He's got Substitute and he's got Black Sludge. So anybody that's running those 2 items probably wants their Gengar to be a little bit more bulky. We do have to go for the Aqua Jet, though, just to make sure that we can hit him. And then with Assault Vest, we are going to survive, so we should be okay. Now, with the lefties, or the Sludge, Black Sludge that's in there, we might not be able to clear him out, but we got to take that chance and see what we can do. Take a chance, go for it. We've got a Azumarill, and we do have our lovely, lovely Typhlosion, and I say lovely, lovely because I'm not sure about him yet. I have no idea. It sucks losing a Azumarill at this point, but had to clear out the Gengar. So now we got 2 Pokemon to clear out with our Typhlosion. Typhlosion is modest, but he's also toxic. He's badly poisoned. Alright, so Gyarados, we don't have to worry about him and the fact that he's going to resist basically whatever we throw out. We just have to worry about what we're going to be able to do against Gliscor. Gliscor, very defensive, bulky, but we saw that the extra sensory didn't do that much. Now, I think he's trying to bait us a little bit into Focus Blast here and trying to miss with that. I'm going to go for Flamethrower, knowing that it's not very effective, but Gyarados, I mean, he just doesn't have enough there to really warrant it. So we've got basically 4 turns of Toxic before Typhlosion's really out of here. Gliscor probably going to hit us with an EQ right away. That probably looks like GG at this point unless we get a critical hacks on this Flamethrower. But Protect is going to stall him out one more turn. Not that it makes a terrible bit of difference, but it does mean that he's trying to guarantee that he's got as much HP to survive this as possible, as well as much HP taken off of me so that his Earthquake has a chance to hit. So basically, he's going to go for Earthquake and then Protect, and then Toxic Damage should take me out. If Earthquake doesn't take me out, or Toxic Damage behind it. But there's the game. GG! Alright. Let's see here. I'm not digging that Typhlosion, though. I think I'm going to switch back into Nidoking. Typhlosion's cool. I really like him, but